indeed. It's your girl D, ready to get y'all started with another episode. My co-host, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Euda. How is everyone doing?
Everyone is doing well. What up, y'all? It's Emorja. so yeah, we just kicking it here. So I guess we're just gonna just talk. So break-wise, we were discussing before the show started, like what everybody did over the break. So my break was a bit extensive. What did y'all end up doing though?
So compared to y'all two, my break was a little lax. I just spent time on campus working on my thesis. There's like this thesis boot camp that's spearheaded by the librarians on campus, in which like it's literally like boot camp. We had to be there like 9 o'clock at the latest, and like we're there to like 4 p.m.
At the library?
Yeah, 9 a.m. to like 4 p.m. They provide us lunch and snacks and water, and you just spend that time like really taking advantage of all the resources that are there at the library. Because I mean, they had like dissertation logs. Like I got way more information than I needed, which I'm not complaining about.
I feel it.
And so other than that, I watched the weather change and I slept and I ate good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weather changed like
it was crazy.
quickly.
We left and it was fall. We came back, it was winter.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Like, I had a whole jacket on, a coat
for
the
real.
other day, yesterday.
Same. Several for me.
Yeah, and I got a thermal on under this. I'm like, yo, man, please.
I like put all my summer clothes away. No more sleeves. Like, no more like seeing my upper arms. And now all my winter stuff is out.
It's officially that season where folks are getting cold and sick for every reason.
Yeah.
Also that.
So please,
Yeah.
bundle up.
Yeah,
I know they
we
had
are
that-
still in a pandemic, you guys. So many people
Exactly.
came back from break with COVID.
Exactly. And if you can, like, get your flu shot, please get your flu shot. I don't know if it's time for y'all to get your booster. I haven't gotten my booster yet, but I'll take mine until, like, November, I believe, like the COVID booster. Have y'all gotten that already? Okay.
I know
either.
people who have, but in terms of the flu vax, everybody has to get that
For Notre Dame.
within the next few days for
Yeah.
Notre Dame. So if you haven't signed up for that already, please go back into your emails, just search up flu, and you should find the link, sign up. Don't get put out of school
Yeah,
because
look
you
It ain't
get
worth
the
it.
flu
lollipops.
vax. Like,
But it ain't worth it.
That's why
it's not worth it, you know?
I went for the lollipops.
Exactly. They give good
Listen,
candy,
I
especially
get
at
it.
M&Ms.
Nah, I feel that. Erda, what'd you do?
I went to Toronto, didn't meet Drake.
Oh.
But
Oh,
yeah, I
that's where all
went
your
to,
running around came from.
Yeah,
In the streets. Okay.
that
I'm like, where's
is-
she running to?
I was trying to find Drake in Toronto, literally. I was trying to just manifest it. I was trying to just put it out there, like, hey, if Drake could come visit me,
Right.
give me a personal welcome to Canada, give me a tour of his
you know,
house,
welcome you,
all
yeah.
these things, it'd be great. He lives like his address. I googled Drake's house and
This
his
girl said she
address
Googled
just
his man
popped up.
address.
Yeah.
Like, it is out here. Like, you can go to Drake's house and drive by.
So he
I
don't
did
live
not.
in LA like with everybody else. He stays in Canada.
He
for real.
stays in Canada.
Okay.
I think, but I,
I
don't
mean,
know
Drake
his
has
life.
multiple houses, which
okay.
is why, did y'all see like when Kanye exposed
Yes.
his location?
No, I
He
missed
was
it.
laughing at
Yep.
the fact that he exposed his location because like everybody
Everybody
already
already
knows
knew.
where Drake lives.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's why
literally.
it was kind of like
He was like, Toronto is my people.
Yeah.
Like,
I
they
mean,
can come
the
through
man's-
whenever.
He's Canadian.
Yeah.
I guess, right? Canadian
Yeah,
black.
he
Yeah.
is from
Yeah.
Toronto.
Canadian.
So,
Black
yeah.
Canadian? I don't know.
Yeah, it was really fun though. Highly recommend Toronto. Had so much good food. I had first meal there was oxtail, like and Jamaican beef patties. I had
Okay.
Haitian food. I had Vietnamese banh mi sandwiches. Just good stuff. Coming back to South Bend was rough
I know.
and
It's
hard.
different.
And
It's-
Rocco's
it's-
Pizza,
it's like
I guess.
It's like a gray cloud just falls on you. as you
Yo,
enter.
yesterday though, like, or whenever this podcast comes out, like, it was
Yeah.
such a gray day, the first day back from fall.
Yes.
Ugh, it's just, yeah, but it was sunny today.
I know.
Yeah.
What did you do,
Like today
Emorja?
feels good. So I left here on Sunday night, and then I went to Atlanta, not Atlanta, but Atlanta, and then I stayed there for a couple of days, and then so on Tuesday morning, I flew to New York. I went to the Met Opera to see Fire Shut Up in My Bones,
My God.
because this is the first time in over 100 years, if any, it might be the first time period, where a black opera opened up the Met season, because of course after after the whole George Floyd thing, people were discussing, why isn't the Met doing anything by black people outside of Porgy and Bess? Like, there are so many other things that we can do outside of Porgy and Bess. So I went to go see that. Was a part of history for that. It was really good. And they actually want to bring it to Chicago in the spring. So anyone who likes going to see operas, I advise you to go take a look at it. It's really good. Then I flew back from New York on Wednesday morning. I got to I went back to Atlanta, and I went to this one restaurant called Houston's. And so I was with a friend of mine, and she was like looking over my shoulder. I'm like, what is she looking at? And then she was like, oh, that's just Rick Ross. I was like, and it's just so, it's like so normal to just see people like walk up like in the same restaurant in Atlanta. It's nothing. I was waiting for Oprah to come through next. But yeah, so
I can't believe I didn't meet Drake in
Oprah's
Toronto,
at
but you
her
met
house
Rick
eating
Ross
Right.
in Atlanta.
We go see
Yo.
Houston.
so I mean, I did that. I met my uncle on my dad's side because I'm a big genealogist. Like I love like we've discussed this, like the whole genealogy thing. So I met my uncle Chris, and then I met some other family as well too. And then I also found out that I'm related to Jimi Hendrix as well.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just I'm still doing some research, finding out some stuff. Now I have another cousin named Nona Hendrix who sang background for who sang in the LaBelles before Patti LaBelle got really big.
Wow.
So yeah, you just sort of never know who you're connected to. So did that. I spent some time with my friends and my family, and it was good. I needed to get away. I did rest, but I mean I spent more time like going back and forth between Atlanta and the different parts of Atlanta, and then what else? I went to Six Flags as well too. So yeah, I enjoyed myself. That's what I needed to do. So I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving so we can have some sweet potato pie and not pumpkin pie. But anyways, that's all I did though. So.
That's right. And you know what's crazy? People underestimate the travel time in Atlanta when you just say how you moving back and forth.
Everything is 30 minutes.
Oh my God. Every time I go to Atlanta, we used to visit my grandma Jackie. My grandma Jackie stayed like 40 minutes away from my auntie, which really became an hour because of traffic. I was like, I love you, Grandma Jackie, but you don't know. real hard. And then one summer, my uncle decided he's a technology man. Like he would rather have a big screen TV than AC in his car. So we were driving in the car with no AC. It started raining in Atlanta. It was horrible, y'all. And we were still driving to Grandma Jackie's house.
And see, I haven't seen a TV in a car since like Pimp My Ride. Like that's how long it's been since I've seen a TV in a car.
I feel like that was like at a time that was like, oh, every car is gonna have this at some point, right?
Seriously.
To have the little TVs, and then we all were like, we don't want it.
Because I mean, quite frankly, if we're driving, like the temptation to watch TV as you're driving, I don't know. I mean, and now we have systems and vehicles now where of course, you can play music from YouTube, but I'm pretty sure they may get to a point, if it's not already done, where you can actually play a video on your dashboard as well too.
Yeah. Oh, they have some luxury cars like that already, where like the whole dashboard is technological and touchscreen.
It's all of it, yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Like Cadillac?
Yeah, I think we're just not rich enough to know.
But
also, I think it's like iPads. I think people, like, if you have a kid or whatever, like, and you give them an iPad, then you don't need a TV screen in your car because you have your iPad and your phone or whatever it is. So that's
it's a constant innovation that changes the
right. Yeah. I feel like we've glossed over the fact that you flew to New York for like a day and then flew back, and I'd like to talk about that more.
That's giving rich uncle energy.
That's giving jet setting.
Although, but you know what, I will say this. At first, I almost didn't go because I was like, I'm on my vacation. It's going to be hard to try to find a flight. I would really want to spend the extra money, but my mentor, he helped to take care of some stuff. So shout out to Marshall White. So it was like really good to stop. Well, I mean, listen, took care of the hotel and everything. I mean, I took care of the flight, but it was good to just go. And one thing I will say, like being in New York, like visiting is cool. I don't know if I could live there. Cost of living, at least just not right now. Maybe whenever I'm making $500,000, I can live there, have my own place in Long Island or something.
I feel like this is one of those like don't get me started type things. I lived in Queens for a while. Like New York, like Manhattan, New York City is a city for millionaires. It is not for. We are not rich enough to live in New York, like New York proper. Like it's trash and it sucks, and the $7 coffees are less fun when you have to do it every day. Like it's not.
It's the culture. I think people would go for the culture. I went to this one restaurant called Fresh and Co. and it was so good, healthy stuff. The fish, the rice. Yeah, I know we're getting off topic, but anyways, I had a great time in New York though. Yeah. D, what you got? You said you got something going on campus.
Yes. So there's Ruby Bridges is coming to campus next Friday, and you can go to Clouds Center's website and sign up to get a link via Zoom. There's no longer any seats available for the Leighton Hall. Don't kid yourself. Just sign up for the Zoom if you want to be a part of that. And we just heard through the grapevine that Emorja and choir is singing there. So if you don't want to see Ruby, at least go see Emorja.
If you don't want to see Ruby,
we would hope that you want to see her.
Please go see Ruby.
I'd rather pass on the history.
Listen, but so if y'all don't know who Ruby Bridges is, if you watch the Cosby Show, there was a picture. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They had two different pictures. I believe it was the picture that Claire Huxtable they had in the living room. If I'm not mistaken, was it in the living room? I think. I'm pretty sure it was on there.
I've never seen a single episode.
I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah, what?
Now that's a conversation we can have later.
We'll talk about it later. So yeah, there's a famous painting with Ruby Bridges as she's walking to school. But I want to say it's on the Cosby Show. So check it out. But needless to say, yeah, if you are able-bodied, you can check it out at the house, on Zoom. But it's something that I believe that you don't want to miss this. It'll be pretty good.
Can you say who she was? What she was the first.
So she started. Let me get the year. Hold on, I'm bad with years. But she essentially, when it came down to integration, she was one of the. I guess you could sort of say pioneering students.
I think she was one of the first, if not the first,
Yeah.
like African American to go to a desegregated school.
Yes.
And the National Guard had to come. I think this was Alabama. Right?
And so she was the first African-American child to desegregate the all-white William Frantz Elementary School in Louisiana. During the New Orleans school. You should know this, D.
She asked you.
She's giving you the space to.
During the New Orleans school desegregation crisis on November the 14th, 1960, she's the subject of the 1964 painting, The Problem We All Live With by Norman Rockwell. Yeah.
Learning her, they never emphasized the school. I'm just probably learning the school name, but they always emphasize it was in New Orleans. I don't even think this school even exists anymore.
Well, that's your Black History Month.
Yes, that's your little what's happening on campus. Other than that, my other meaty topic is talking about the differences in the progress between the LGBTQ community and the Black community. And this whole conversation is plotted by David Chappelle's new Netflix comedy series, which I didn't find anything wrong with what he said. I thought the whole series was critical and engaging and thought-provoking. I think that if you watched the show and you didn't have anything to provide to the conversation afterwards, then the entire segment went over your head. And so my question to you guys is, what do you think about the differences in the progress and whether or not other groups' successes is, I wouldn't say better because they get it faster than we do, but what does that say about the way that people respond to groups like Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
This is tricky.
I'll say this. When it came down to the whole George Floyd thing, I know, and I'm sure even before them, I'm just saying that because that's when there was a melting pot of issues that we had to look at in the face and say, what are we doing wrong? And not we, but we are doing wrong. And so you have Black Lives Matter, you have LGBTQIA, you have the Asian. I know there was a situation where the Asian community, I forgot what it was.
Like an uptick in hate crimes.
Yes,
and just
the Asian hate crimes. And then you had this, you had that. So it's like, what are we going to put what are we going to pour most of our water into? Like, what glass is going to be either full or half? It's like, there are so many things we have to look at because I know as it relates to what's happening on campus, I'll specifically speak about this microcosm of a community. As it relates to LGBTQIA, I've been seeing people on campus being more vocal, or maybe I'll say I'm able to see them. I'm pretty sure they've been doing things before I actually started noticing. But seeing that and then seeing how people are supportive of their endeavors, I can see there is growth along those lines. As it relates to, in comparison to, Black Lives Matter on campus, I'm not too sure. I mean, I have seen, they have the race and ethnicity grant. They're bringing in people on campus, which is great. But we want to just make sure, and this is just my thought from a student aspect, that whatever we do now, make it consistent, be intentional about it, not just doing it to put a Band-Aid on and say, hey, we did something, which I think there are some departments who are doing better with making sure that it's not just diverse, but including them consistently. So yeah, I will say that, and I'm not a part of the group, but I will say hopefully at least they feel as if that the school is doing something, but also with America at large, hopefully they're also answering the call.
I think this is tricky, and I want to say that I'm not a part of the LGBTQ community, and so I feel like I don't have a lot of room to speak like for them as to how oppressed or non-oppressed or how like much progress they feel like they've done or they've gotten. And so I feel like I need to like caveat that like really quick. But if you just look at and I was talking to you about this a little bit before we started shooting, like the difference between Bill Clinton, I want to say 95, the Defense of Marriage Act, which he was like marriage is between a man and a woman, and then about 20 years later, like, or 25 years. I was born in 95. Don't do the math. If we look at the difference, all these years later, where the Supreme Court said marriage, equality, like all across the land. Obama like came out during his presidency and was like, we should have marriage equality, all of these things, and it's like about a 20-year difference between, you know what I mean, like sharp inequality, and we have, arrived, and like the fact that like the LGBTQ community is such a like. It's a powerful community. Like, look at what happened to Dave Chappelle or DaBaby, right? Like, where, like, literally, you cannot like say anything against them, and that's how it should be. I'm not saying I'm mad at that. Right. Like, that's how it. I'm saying the same thing does not happen for Black people. Like, it is not like there have been plenty of people who have said racist things and who still have careers and still have lives, and I feel like Black people have not. Like, part of me is like Black people maybe have not managed to organize like in the same way, like in order to like really target or bring down like the people who are being racist. But another part of me is thinking that like this is so tricky again, because it kind of gets into this like suffering Olympics of like, oh, who got it worse, which is like just a trash discussion based on nothing. But it's like Black people have had like 300 years of slavery and then like another 150 years of segregation and Jim Crow and all these things. And that takes way longer, like I feel like, for the dominant class to like get over, like be able to admit that they did that and to like, I want to say let us in. Like then like LGBTQ, which I feel like did not have such a like pointed like time where it was like we are oppressing you specifically like for and when it's like they did though, right? Like they also were not allowed to be fully who they were for all of this time as well, right? And so it's just such a tricky conversation.
And the funny thing about it is like, how do you, so say for example you are Black, which of course that comes with oppression, slavery, Jim Crow, all of that, and then you are part of the LGBTQIA community. Having those two things, and say for example in the 50s and the 60s, because our community is just, if I be honest, I'm just sort of thinking, even like the church community, some people are just coming to grips with this is a reality, and people are they're living their truth. And some people don't like it as it relates to the Black community because we've always shunned that and we look down on that. Like my son's not going to be gay. He ain't no sissy. He ain't no queen. All these, just like as far as for daughters, my daughter won't be no butch. Like we have a history of those ways in which we have degraded our children, our sons, our daughters, and so to have this record playing over and over again. You have so many conflicting things. So being Black and gay is one thing. I can't speak for the white community.
Is crazy.
And I would love to have this discussion, with the center on campus because I don't know. It just I don't know. I don't know if. And I've always heard that for example, the white community is more accepting of that because they're okay. They're not as harsh as we are. But I can't say that because if I think of church, we have the evangelicals. So there are so many balls in the court that we have to juggle.
I think that's sorry to cut you off, I think that's part of it is that LGBT community, especially when they were activating, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but they had white men who are gay, right? And so I feel like having the power of white men within their community helped to, you know what I mean? Advance their rights a bit faster maybe, or help them to integrate with / be accepted more. At a gay bar in DC, it was the hottest thing to do, socially distance outdoors, in a tent or whatever. And so there was a drag queen, there were two of them, right? And they walk around and they entertain and they dance. They also give out shots, all this other stuff. If you haven't been to one, highly recommended, right? And so my friends are sitting there and it's me, it was 3 Black girls, me and 2 other Black girls, and then another white people, I want to say group of 8, right? 5 other white people, boys and girls. Anyways, so we're all sitting there at a table, pretty much the furthest away from the stage, and we're like enjoying ourselves watching the show, clapping, and the drag queen, like she is a white man drag queen, white woman, and she proceeds to come to our table like 18 times and gives us shots. And by us, I mean the 3 black girls, and specifically saying Happy Juneteenth, like over and over, like take another. And we were like, we're not, this is like a Sunday, we have things to do after this. This is not the kind of vibe we're not trying to have shots right now. And she was like, no, you're taking these shots. Like, and she just kept coming back to our table specifically. And I was like, I'm uncomfortable. After like the 3rd shot, I was like, I don't like how much white guilt I feel here. I don't like how, like, I don't like these feelings that you just like, oh, I need you specifically to take these shots so that I feel better about whatever racism I may have done in the past or whatever it is. Like, where I was just like, why does she keep coming back to our?
I feel it. You know, I've always wondered, this is just, I guess because I don't drink, but why do people always, what is the concept between drinking for celebration? Like, what does drinking do for you that you can't do sober?
I don't know. It's not even for celebration, because like if you're sad, you also will drink.
True.
So like,
I don't know. It's just a nice process to kill yourself slowly. That's the only thing that I can say. Really. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that like you can't have the same amount of fun.
I feel it.
But the drunkenness just adds a different level to the funness. You be like,
you just don't care.
Have you ever been drunk?
I've been drunk in the spirit. That's all.
Oh my God.
But no, seriously.
I'm 21 now, so I can like comfortably have these conversations and be like, yep.
But see, I've drank once in my life. Like, I just sipped it. Now I don't count hot toddies as drinking, because if I'm sick, that's the only time you'll ever see me drink a hot toddy. But I've tasted wine before. I don't know, because like growing up, people would always drink, and like I didn't want to become to the point where I was like, I lost control of myself. People like that feeling. I'm like, that's just not me.
I feel
like,
that.
No, if I'm going to be drunk, and I don't know, maybe if I'm drunk, I'll be the sleepy kind. I love to sleep, so I don't know. I don't know what my response would be to that.
That's crazy. This is weirdly off topic. We're no longer talking. I'd be really curious / like, I don't know, for you, not even for my own curiosity. I feel like you should just try drinking. And
well, graduation's also, like, coming soon.
Live your life, fam. Like, don't listen to me. I don't want to. This is like the DARE program. Like, someone's gonna come to you and be like, "Do you want alcohol?" It's me. I'm that person.
But I mean, I did say, like, once graduation comes, or I go to Jamaica for my graduation celebration, I'm pretty sure I'll drink something.
Well, Mom, they're going to get you drunk.
I know.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna have family there too, so it'll be a lot.
Oh my God.
My poor Caribbean accent.
Listen, but
we can get back to this.
So for those who don't know, Howard University is having a big issue right now with mold on their campus, and for the past, actually it's been for a while, weeks, that they've been camping outside because students don't want to be inside at this point. People have, like, I was reading the article, some people were coughing up blood, and they had a meeting scheduled, a town hall for the administrators, but instead of the administrators being there, they sent the police instead. And so I'm like, y'all, get the stuff fixed. And so they don't even have a proper protocol as it relates to, active testing. So, and it makes me think, like, is it the resources that they don't have to ensure that these things are in place? Because I think about Notre Dame, and I know 2 separate schools, 2 separate systems, but I'm really wondering if resources is the bottom line as to why they're not properly, supported, or properly, as it relates to health reasons. Because, we get tested regularly whenever we need to, I guess, whenever they have are they still doing the, what is it called?
Testing?
Yeah, the COVID testing, but it's like,
I mean, you get
symptomatic testing.
You're not vaccinated but symptomatic.
They have like the rapid test available for you.
So I mean, I don't know, and it's sad. I'm like, with all the things that Howard University has, all the good stuff. You have Kamala, you have Nicole Hannah-Jones, and now we have this. So I don't know. I've seen people protesting. Like, I went to Morehouse when I was in Atlanta, and they're also doing some protesting for them and with them as well, as it relates to the whole COVID thing. But they also have their other stuff going on as well. So I guess the bottom line is, I don't know. I'm not there, so I can't say. But how do you fix something like that? Like, is it hard? Because I even think about, like, Notre Dame. There's no AC in the rooms. And like, do people protest because they want AC in there? But we know that the buildings are so old that it would take more money to put AC in there. So I've heard, but then some people like the culture. But I don't know.
But it's also like AC is not a health issue. Like, you're not going to cough up blood because there's no AC, right? Like, especially in the area that we live in.
2 fans, and I'm like, fine, I'm not hot anymore.
In the area that we live in, like, having not having AC is not like a threat to your life. Whereas this, like, mold inside the dorms, like, that is a threat to your life and well-being.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
And this reminds me a lot of like Flint, Michigan, where I feel like this is the same thing, where it's just like, it's still not fixed. Like, the water in Flint, Michigan still has lead in it because it's going to cost so much money, time, resources to dig up all of the things, like, and then replace the pipes or whatever that have the lead in it, and like change the entire system of the city. And I feel like this might be the same thing with Howard. I don't know if they got to tear the buildings down. I'm not an engineer, but like, I think just removing the mold is going to cost a lot of money and time and resources. And
so what's the sacrifice? Are we going to get rid of the mold? Or are we going to, what? I mean, are we going to, because these students are outside and snow season is coming up.
Cold. Yeah.
Good for them. I don't say good for them. I don't think they should be outside. I know what you're saying. I'm saying, like, I stand in solidarity with them, with their fact that they're like, we should not be living like this. Like, this is
every time I see it on my timeline, I'm like making sure that I retweet it and I like it and like let it. The pictures and the videos that I've seen, I am like disgusted because everyone at some point is like seen mold, whether it's grown on like food or whatever. I've never seen like mold just grow on a hat or like a paint, like a picture, like y'all. The whole back of the picture was like completely mountains of mold. Mountains. That's the best way. Mountains of mold. And I'm like, I think it's very, very serious. I think the mold issue is very, very serious in the way that like it's circulated. A Twitter post about how much presidents make, especially HBCU presidents make, and I heard that the president of Howard makes the most money out of dang near all HBCU.
I mean, Howard.
That makes perfect sense.
So I'm like,
that's the Harvard.
Where's the money going? And when I look on Twitter, I have a lot of people who go to Howard, so they're like, it's going to other fees and like pickpocketing and you know, like 3 years ago they had like some embezzlement issues with one of their like students for millions of dollars. So I'm like I'm not trying to bash Howard in any way, especially as a black woman going to a school like University of Notre Dame. So I just wonder what's happening with the money and does there need to be a different position and power to change the dynamic of what's happening on campus, because people are getting sick.
I feel like I don't know a lot about like Howard and like its internal financial practices, but I do know that historically HBCUs have received less federal funding than other like universities, right? And so I hesitate to say that like Howard is wasting or misappropriating the funds. And when I was applying here for Notre Dame, just for grad school, I was like, I looked I looked really deeply into going to Howard. Like, I really was like, yo, Kamala went here. Like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, I really want to go to this university. And they had, I think, like a handful of graduate student programs. Like, it wasn't, it was not an extensive list, and it did not include anything near like the degree that I wanted. And I was shocked. I was like, how is it like a full-on university and they have not that many like graduate programs, even less PhD programs? And I was just like, this is a shocking amount like of no choice for someone who wants to go to like an institution like this, like an HBCU, right? And so I think this is a funding issue. I think this is an issue of Howard being underfunded, of Howard not having the same type of endowments, the same type of donations, the same types of all these things that like other white universities have. So yeah, I think that's what it is. But they gotta still face up to it. You know what I mean? This whole thing where they're trying to hide and act like there's no mold is not the mold.
It's funny because even, I know we're getting ready to wrap this up, but even with all of this, you know, that's going on at Howard, the other videos I've seen is where you have this community of people who are speaking out against something, and like they're outside. I've seen people, you know, they got their own food, they're out there singing songs, and it just reminds me of situations where black people have been, you know, during segregation. We would still find our community and still have something to appreciate, even in the midst of the struggle.
Making nothing out of something.
Exactly, and that's what I always say. Like, we are the geniuses of doing that, and it's just what we do.
Yeah, truly.
But anyways, y'all, you all, you all. Thank you so much for. I don't know what's going on. I'm just hungry.
We came back from break tired.
Well, listen, thank you all so much for checking us out. Y'all have any parting words, family?
Welcome back.
Yeah, man.
Excited to be here. Let's get it.
We only have half the semester left, you guys. We
can
make it to December.
I promise you. And before you know it, honestly, May will be here.
Hey, whoa, Jill.
Relax.
Man, y'all, listen. But needless to say, so thank y'all for checking us out. Make sure to go share, subscribe, and like all of this stuff, because we don't do this just for us, but we do it for you. All right? You all have a great day, evening. We'll see you later.
Bye.
I don't know.